All right, let's talk about that heart-stopping moment. You know the one. Your business is chugging along, customers are finding you on Google, everything's great, and then one morning, poof, you're gone. Just vanished. It is literally a business owner's worst nightmare when your digital front door, your number one marketing tool, just disappears overnight. Yeah, this is that nightmare scenario we're talking about. One day you're popping up in the local map pack, the phone's ringing off the hook, and the very next, it's like you never even existed. The leads just stop, and that cold panic starts to creep in. Look, if this has happened to you or you're just plain terrified that it could happen, stick around. You're in exactly the right place. Okay, so here's the most important thing I can tell you right now. Don't panic. I know, easier said than done. But getting your profile back isn't some kind of mysterious magic trick. It's a process, a very specific one. And that's what we're going to do here. We're going to walk through the exact step-by-step plan to not only get your listing back, but to build a fortress around it so this never, ever happens to you again. All right, so the first step in any recovery is figuring out what's actually wrong. It's kind of like going to the doctor, right? You got to diagnose the problem before you can treat it. When we say your business vanished, what does that really mean? Because in Google's universe, gone can mean a few different things, and you have to know which one you're dealing with. Let's break them down. First, you've got what's called a soft suspension. This is where you can still see your profile in your dashboard, but it has that ugly suspended tag on it. It's invisible to customers. Usually this is just some kind of minor data issue. Then you have the hard suspension. And yeah, this is the scary one. Your profile is just gone, wiped from your dashboard, vanished from maps. This means Google thinks you did something seriously wrong. And finally, there's the dreaded verification loop. This is where Google just keeps asking you to verify over and over again. If you don't or can't, your listing basically becomes a ghost. Okay, now we know the what. So let's get into the why. What actually triggers these suspensions? Think of these as the most common landmines that business owners step on, and honestly, a lot of the time they don't even know they're breaking a rule. Oh man, this is the big one. Trigger number one, and the number one cause of suspensions, period, is keyword stuffing your business name. Look, I get it. You might think adding best plumber in Tampa after Jones Plumbing is just good marketing. But to Google's algorithm, it's like waving a giant red flag that says, I am spam. You have to use your exact legal business name, period. Nothing else. All right, next up is what I call the address switch trap. You can't just go get a P.O. box or a UPS store mailbox to pretend you have an office in a city you're not in. It's a super common mistake, but it's a fast track to getting suspended. Why? Because Google has this huge blacklist of all those kinds of addresses. The second your profile address matches one of their known fake locations, it's game over. It has to be a real spot you can actually get into. And here are two more sneaky ones that get people all the time. First, review gating. You know what this is. It's when you use software that asks customers if they had a good experience. If they say yes, it sends them to Google to leave a review. If they say no, it sends them to a private feedback form. It feels clever, but Google sees it as manipulation, and their AI is getting really good at spotting it. And the second one, be so careful who you give owner access to. If you hire an SEO agency and their account gets flagged for shady tactics, they can take down every single profile they manage, including yours. It's like a domino effect. Okay, that's enough of the don't do this stuff. Let's flip the script. Let's stop playing defense and start playing offense. How do we actually build a Google business profile that's a fortress, not a flimsy house of cards? Well, it's all about being proactive. So this is absolutely crucial if you're a service area business, plumber, contractor, anybody who goes out to their customers. If you work from home, you must hide your address. I'm serious, this is non-negotiable. Don't show your home address to the public on Google Maps. Instead, you define your service area, like by setting a 20-mile radius. This tells Google exactly how you operate and shows them you're playing by the book. This next tip is all about being prepared. Seriously. Don't wait until you're suspended and panicking to start digging for documents. I want you to go to your computer today and create a folder. Call it Verification Assets. Inside that folder, save a clean PDF of your LLC filing, a copy of a recent utility bill, and maybe a couple of photos of your work vehicle or some business cards. That way, if Google ever asks for proof, you're not scrambling for days. You're ready in 5 minutes. It's a game changer. Okay, let's get to the main event. What happens if the worst has already happened? Your profile is suspended. What do you do? Right now. Remember what I said at the beginning. This is not about panicking. It's about following a calm, step-by-step plan to get back online. Now, please listen carefully here, because this is where most people go wrong. Your first instinct is going to be to slam that appeal button in a panic. Do not do it. Not yet. First, you audit. Go through your profile. Did you just add a keyword to your name? Change it back. Then, step 2, you gather. Remember that verification assets folder we just talked about? Get it ready. Only then, after you've fixed the problem and have your proof ready, do you hit that appeal button. I'm going to say this as clearly as I possibly can. Are you ready? Submit only one appeal. That's it. Just one. Every single time you submit another one, you're not helping. You're actually creating a new ticket and getting sent to the very back of the line. It confuses the whole system and can get your case stuck in limbo forever. So please submit it once, and then you have to be patient. Okay, some pro tips for your evidence. You have to remember, the first person to see your documents is probably going to be an AI, not a human. So use a scanning app on your phone to make super clear, high-resolution PDFs. A blurry photo of a bill is an instant no. And check this. The address on your utility bill needs to match your business registration perfectly. Not close, exactly. Down to the suite versus state, everything has to line up. So, every now and then, Google will hit you with what feels like the final boss battle, a live video verification. And yeah, it sounds super intimidating, but trust me, it's not that bad if you know what they're looking for. It's really just a simple checklist to prove you're a real business at a real place. Let's walk through exactly how to nail it. What Google wants to see is a continuous story, all in one take, no cuts. Here's the sequence. You start outside on the street. Show the street sign, then pan to your building or house number. That proves location. Then you film yourself physically unlocking the door with a key. That proves access. And finally, you walk inside to your workspace and you show your desk, your tools, some branded stuff like business cards. That proves your operations. Just remember those 3 words: location, access, operations. That's the story you need to tell. And just as important, here's what not to do. These are the things that will get your video instantly rejected. Absolutely no cuts or edits. It has to be one continuous shot. Try to keep your face and your voice out of it. That can trigger privacy flags. Make sure you cover up any sensitive customer info you might have lying around. And this is a big one, it has to be recorded live, right when Google prompts you. You can't upload a video you made earlier. So, you did it. You got your profile back online, the crisis is over. Now what? The goal is to make sure you never, ever have to go through that stress again. So we need to shift from frantic emergency mode to a simple long-term protection plan. Think of this like a simple wellness plan for your Google business profile. It's easy. On a weekly basis, just post a quick update or a photo from a recent job. This just signals to Google that you're active. Then, monthly, pop in and check for any suggested edits. Sometimes competitors will sneak in and try to mark you as permanently closed. You gotta block that. And finally, on a quarterly basis, just drop a new utility bill into that evidence folder of yours. That way you're always prepared. Which brings us to the big question you need to ask yourself right now. After everything we've talked about, I want you to go look at your own Google business profile. Is it a fortress built on a solid foundation of playing by the rules and being prepared? Or is it a house of cards just built on sand, waiting for the next Google update to blow it all away? The good news is, now you know exactly how to build that fortress.